Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. So, you guys, let's talk Snowfall, okay? This is Snowfall Commitment, okay? Season 5, episode 2. And we started out this episode from 11 months ago, right? They're taking us back and showing us that it's 11 months ago in Washington, D.C., right? And we have, Have Mayor, or Have Maker, however you say his name, basically seeing Teddy, right? And he goes over to him, and Teddy is basically, telling him how he got the much needed R&R that he needed, how he should have listened to him sooner. He was right. He took time off for himself and did what he had to do, and he is okay now, right? And Teddy is saying that he knows what's going on over there because he's been in touch with some of his old contacts, and Haymaker is basically saying, I don't know what you're talking about. And he was like, okay, well, maybe you don't know what I'm talking about, but I can be a possible asset. I am somebody, that knows all of the different ins and outs, so you could go and tell your boss that I am definitely somebody that he could use. I know the region. I'm out of the agent now, and I could be of great value to you. And so I'm just gonna call him Haymaker. Haymaker basically says, what you should be doing with this time. I would think you would want to do more than just this. You wouldn't want to get back into this. And Teddy was like, well, what do you think, that's supposed to be as opposed to what? And he was like, I was thinking your wife and kids for number, for one. How about you start starting there? But Teddy tells him, no, they're fine. The country needs me, right? Because Teddy is oh so important. He's the only one that could take care of everything, right? And so he was like, if you feel like you want to talk to me, you can contact me at the Country Continental. And he leaves him the information to where he's at. And so we go from there to 6 months ago in Germany, okay? And we see an Avi torturing some guy, right? And so we then have Teddy come into him and talking to him, and Avi is saying how they paid off these people, right? They paid off these guards, but they still screwed them. They took the money and then still didn't do what they were supposed to do. They still have some people that's being held captive. And he's saying, Teddy says you can't trust any of them. They all are, they're all playing us, all right, from each side. And so basically, we then go to 5 months later in DC where Teddy is giving Haymaker an update and saying, they're not giving the hostages up. They're not they got to get, out the mess with Iran or whatever. And they're turning, against them. And so he's like, nothing is working the way that it's supposed to. And so Teddy is asking, what is happening in LA? And of course the bells go off for Haymaker. He's like, oh, that's what this is all about. You basically came back, tried to show me that you was quote unquote clean, just so that, and go out here and act like you was helping with these different situations just so it all could come back to LA. And he's like, why would you want to go back to LA after everything that has happened? And Teddy is saying, it's been a year, nothing else has came out. There's not been no more reporters around or any of that. And he's like, well, not for right now. He was like, but we did have some politicians that was coming asking questions. And he was like, yeah, but those was just the new and upcoming politicians that really didn't know what from what. And they was trying to make a name for themselves. They don't know all that's going on and all of that good stuff, right? And so, Teddy is basically like, it's been over a year. Nobody's looking for me. You haven't heard any more of my name. And he was like, let me go and figure out what's going on. I'm the perfect person to do it. But, Haymaker is like, I'm not so sure of that. And like I said, he's looking at this like, okay, so this was all the setup. This was the point of you doing everything, that you did. And so Teddy's like, well, like I said, let me figure all of this out, right? And so he tells him, okay, I will let you go ahead and see what's going on. So this is how we ended up seeing, in the first episode where Teddy was snooping around and acting like he was the electrician. This is where that comes into play, right? We now have that, say, 3 days ago in Los Angeles. And, this is when he ends up at his house and he's acting like he's the electrician and all of that good stuff. And Grady kind of feels like, I don't think you really the electrician, but he doesn't know at that point, right? And so that's how that part came into play. We then had, Grady and Franklin meet up, and, they trying to still see if they can make this deal, if he could give, Franklin what he was asking for as far as the money. And he's like, well, I'll tell you what, how about the plane? And Franklin is like, you want my plane? And he's like, no, I want to ride in the plane, okay? And he's like, that's it? And he was like, yeah. So they go up for a ride in the plane, okay? They both excited and laughing. This is actually the only time that Franklin doesn't look all tensed up. As a matter of fact, Grady even tells him, like, I like seeing you like this with that big smile. Sometimes you be making me feel like you about to have a damn, also or whatever, or some kind of attack. And Franklin's like, I'm only 24. He's like, that's my point. Relax a little bit sometime. And so he's like, do you have anybody special in your life, a lady? And Franklin's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. And he's asking Grady, do he have anybody special, or have he ever been married? And Grady lets us know he has 4 wives and a few kids, okay? And he's like, now I love the kids, but I hate the wives. And they laugh about that. And then he asked Franklin, do he think he want to ever be a daddy one day? And Franklin was like, yeah. And he was like, I could see you being a great dad. The kid would be one hell of a lucky, like they won the lottery. And so you could see that they do have a good relationship. There is a mutual respect there. I think he has a much better flow with him than he has with Teddy. Okay. And of course that might be getting ready to get interrupted, but it seems like they do have a good flow, and they pretty much making the deal and they're in a good place, right? And so Grady is basically saying that he thinks that, Franklin will be okay, and like I said, he will make a great dad. And so then we have Teddy going back and saying to, his handler, oh, it's bad. Grady is a mess, and he's messing up the biz, and he's basically, doing business with the asset, and is in a relationship with one of the asset's people. This is not a good look. He's been he's been pocketing money for himself and all this different kind of stuff. We cannot have that. And so Haymaker says, is he sure he could work with the asset? And he's like, of course, why wouldn't I be able to? You mean the same one that I saved, and the same one, that I got out of jail and that I got out of trouble different times? Why wouldn't I be able to work with him? And Haymaker basically says, no, I was more so thinking about what you did to his father in Cuba. Okay? So we got the confirmation, y'all, even though most of us knew, because we know damn well Teddy ain't go all the way there just to walk up behind, Franklin Daddy back and not kill him. But this was definitely the confirmation of that. And so I'm curious to know whether Franklin knows about this yet or not. Okay, y'all? Alright, and so, that's going to be a mess. But we have him say, Teddy says he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then he says, Haymaker tells him, get Grady in line quietly. Okay, that's all he said. Get him in line quietly, right? And so we have Franklin come home, and he's telling his girl Veronique that he took Grady up in the plane. And he's like, what? Why are you looking at me like that? Do I need to be saged now or something? She was like, maybe. All right, I'm thinking about it. And they both laugh about that. And she has all these different calendars with stickers all over the floor. And he's like, what's going on? What is this? And basically she's saying, I'm trying to get some of our chaos in order. And he lays down there with her, and they're looking over the different calendar dates. Some of it is the plans for the buildings that they're opening up. Some of it is for the buildings they already have. Some of it is for her doctor's appointments. And he tells her, as far as the new building that they're supposed to be opening up downtown, he wants her to have personal, equity stake in it. And she's like, boy, don't be playing around with me, okay? They just canceled Different Strokes. And he's like, I wouldn't play around with you with a pregnant, with a pregnant woman. He was like, the paperwork is in my case. And she tells him, wow, like, I really appreciate that. It feels good when somebody knows your value, which it does, absolutely. And so he's like telling her, I got your back. I'm there for you. Like I said, when my promises, what I was going to make happen for you. And that's that on that. Like, you know what I mean? I got your back, you got mine, because he also tells her that he's had a lot of people that have backstabbed him and did different things. And she's like, look, that was before me. But now that I'm here, I got you. So they seem to have a pretty good relationship and understanding of each other. We then had them, going and talking to Jerome and Louis about this, trying to get them into this business as well, right? Excuse me, and giving them the whole layout in the folder of all the commercial properties in the area, what the value would be, what they would make if they sell it, what they would make if they rent out the different units, the projections, all that good stuff. And so Veronique says she's gonna go ahead and head back to the office. They looking at them kissing, on Louis had to smile a little bit on that. And so then once she leaves, they're asking him whatever happened with the Rob situation, did he take care of it? And he says, yeah, that's all done. Rob is out. And they're like, what do you mean out? He's like, out. And then Jerome is basically like, damn, nephew. He was like, he went too far. He was too far gone. There was nothing we could do about it. He was on the pipe. And so he says, he couldn't be trusted anymore. And so that was, that on that. Wanda goes back to work, okay, and her check was short. And she was pissed the hell off, okay. The guy's giving her all different kind of excuses, talking about, they take out this for this, they take out that for that. Wanda was like, and what that got to do with me, okay? What that got to do with the price of tea in China, honey? And so basically he tried to tell her like, oh, well, if you do whatever little side stuff for me, maybe we can make some other deals and some of the arrangements, okay, if you want to come in here and hang out with me sometimes. And he basically has this Coke on the table on a tray. So she was like, oh, for real? Oh, yeah, you think so? And she walking over to him and he all smiling and she sits on his lap. And she was like, boy, if you don't get the hell up out of here with that shit, like, I want my damn money. And basically tosses the damn, tray that he had the Coke on, and all of that spills all over the place. And then he's like, get the hell out of here, and pissed off. And she's like, screw you and screw this damn job, okay? So Wanda done quit that damn job, all right? We had Gustavo taking his kids to school. They arguing back and forth on whose fault it is that they late. Gustavo says, hey, stop it. Tell them it's my fault, or whatever the case may be. Tell them I was using the bathroom and it took me long. And they like, ew. So they go in. When he turned around, who behind him but Raggedy Teddy, okay? Teddy is giving him an update, letting him know that Grady is not going, to be around anymore. He done messed up. He's also asking him about Zamara. He's saying she loves the life here. He's saying that right now for him it's all about family. Family is here. And so that's what he decided to, stick to. And he's like, so you're coming back in now? And he says, yeah, he wants to know if he could still trust him. And he's like, yeah, you could trust me, you know what I'm saying, to do what I need to do. But he was like, Grady is not a bad person. He's been good. And he was like, I could tell you right now, he loves it here. He loves how everything is going. And he is not going to want to leave. And, Teddy's basically saying it's not going to be up to him. And then he was like, well, one thing I could say is Grady is a whole hell of a lot more fun than you. And Teddy talking about, I'm fun. Yeah, okay, whatever. And he was like, nah, you ain't fun, dude. And so we then had Avi, selling some damn, firearms to Louis and Jerome, okay? They was packing up, getting the big old shipments coming in. And Avi was also saying to them, like, I love y'all vibe. I love how y'all are together. He was like, y'all are giving me, Bonnie and Clyde. And they was like, you do know what happened at the end with them, right? And he was like, well, not that part, but just the part of how, y'all rock for each other and y'all go out for each other. And he was like, I'm actually a little jealous of that. At the end of the day, y'all do have that love that y'all have for each other. So when they get in the car, Louis like, was that a little weird to you? What was going on with that? And Jerome was like, girl, if you try to, get in Ivy mind and understand him, you would be in a straitjacket or whatever the case may be. So we ain't gonna do that. And she was like, well, no, again, like, are you happy? Is this good? Are you okay with this? Is he right? And so Jerome was like, girl, am I happy? He was like, why wouldn't I be happy? He was like, I got you sitting here looking beautiful, I'm rich, I'm alive. He was like, hell yeah, I'm happy. Okay. And so they was both like, good. He was like, I could, don't see how I could be doing any better. And so Louis just still saying, like, I know I may not tell you much, but I appreciate you so much. She was like, it was a time when you was ready to go and you was all in because of me, and I know that. And so no matter what, I want you to know that's everything, and that, you my boo. And so she was just telling him he's a king among men. And I love Louis and Jerome's vibe, and she told him, I hope you know that. And he was like, of course I do. So that was cute. But we have Franklin trying to reach his mother, right? Franklin have not been able to get his mother on the phone at all. And when he does get her, he can't hear nothing, okay? All he's hearing is a whole bunch of crackling and popping, okay? So again, I don't even know if Franklin knows what the hell is going on and what happened to his mom. I mean, his dad rather. But all you hear her doing is calling his name, and he's trying to tell her about this important news that him and Veronique have been, saying how it's not too many people that he's been able to tell, but he wants to tell her. And I don't even know if his mama can hear what he's saying. And, she's going, what did you say? What did you say? And she was like, we having a baby, or whatever the case may be. He was like, I can't believe it. And so he was saying, I sure wish you was here. And basically, the line started beeping. And so I'm like, oh, Franklin, some kind of way you better fly over there to your mama or something, boy, and check on her. But we have I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to see what the heck happened next. Oh, okay. Franklin go head over to Leon, and Leon is like, Jerome told me what happened with Rob. He was like, I know that couldn't have been easy to do. He lets him know, like, yeah, I didn't have no choice. It was too far gone. And he does confide in Leon about the fact that he is going to be a father, right? At this point, I think he just wanted to tell somebody. Of course, he was trying to tell his mother on the phone. And Leon is congratulating him like, whoa, wow, a dad. And so he's like, I know you want to say something. Go ahead and say it. And he was like, nah, I'm not saying anything. Like, I'm just happy for you. Congratulations. And that's it, right? And so they have their little bonding moment on that. We then have Grady going walking in his house, or walking to the kitchen. And who's in the kitchen but Teddy behind, waiting for him, got a bottle of wine in his hand. And, he's saying to him, okay, the fun is over. All right, time is up. You got to get your stuff together now. They found out everything that you was doing. You out of pocket. Grady is basically like, oh, the electrician guy. He was like, but without the wig and the glasses. He knows immediately who he is, right? He's like DWP without the wig and all of that. So he was like, I would offer you a drink or a line of cocaine, but I'm assuming you would say no. Teddy says, yeah, because I'm working. And he's like, right. So he was like, so did they send you here to warn me? And then he's like, what did you expect? And he was like, this house, these cars, the money, the millions of dollars, flowing directly into your pocket or whatever the case may be. And they were looking in another direction. And so Grady's like, I figured it was included. And then he was like, no, they're not. And so he's like, fine, I got the message, go ahead and get the hell up out of here and tell your masters that you did your job, all right? That's basically what Grady was saying to Teddy. So Teddy goes ahead and sit his behind down and tells him it's too late. And Grady basically, his contract is canceled, it's over. And Grady basically was like, no, And he was like, No, I don't think so. And he takes, his gun out from behind his robe and he sits down at the table as well. And he's like, I don't think that it is. And so basically, he says, who has the best relationships with the Colombians and can get 500 keys across the border and knows how to move in and all of that kind of stuff. And so he was like, these might be problems. And so, you know, Teddy is basically like, oh yeah, you're not the only one that know how to do that. So then Grady catches on and was like, wait, you're the guy. You're the guy that almost went down with the ship. Oh, you're that guy. You know what I mean? And he's like, wow. He was like, so how did they get you to come back? All right. Was it the carrot or was it the stick? And, for a while there, Grady was coming off like he was just Mr. Party Man and really didn't care too much about stuff. But in this moment, Grady was smarter than, I thought he was. He was like, oh, you one of those. You thinking it's all about for God or country and you come across looking to feel something else, He was like, oh, let me guess. Wait, they didn't come to you. You came to them. And you want to feel like you matter and that you're not a joke, He was like, I bet your wife left you and you ain't got your child no more. And so he was like, she's messing with some other guy now. And, when you was a kid, your parents basically kicked you around like a little pup and everybody knew you was an idiot. So he was reading, okay, Teddy, all right. He definitely picked up on everything. And he was like, am I close? And I was like, yes, Grady, you are spot on, baby. All right. And so Teddy stands up and was like, when I come back tomorrow, you better be gone. And Grady was like, you think I didn't see this coming? He was like, yeah, you go back and tell them, that I know an awful lot and I could tell a lot about this operation. I am this operation and they better think twice the next time before they come back to this house. Now, Grady, that's when you went a little too far, okay? You should have kept your mouth shut. You never let people know what the hell you gonna do. I'm just saying. So, at this point, Grady is basically, walking. Well, I'm sorry, before that even happened. We did have Wanda go and talk to Leon, and she's telling him what happened at the job. She's explaining to him how, when you're trying to be, in recovery, a part of recovery is you always admitting that you're an addict, and how people look at her when they realize that she used to smoke rock, because he was saying, well, just don't tell them. And she's saying, she don't know where she could fit in. It was hard enough getting clean in the first place, but it's even harder to stay clean. And that all of this is a process. And she was like, Leon, I really need you to do me a favor and put me back out here, on the streets. She was like, I don't know what else I'm going to be able to do and what other choice I have. You know what I'm saying? Then for you to put me on. And so he was like, oh, yeah, you got a choice and I'm going to make it real easy for you. That's a no for me, dog. Okay, that can't happen. You are going to have to figure something else out. All right. And so after that, we had Teddy basically walking back to his bedroom. He done opened up the damn same bottle of wine. I'm sorry. We have Grady walking back to his bedroom. He done opened up the same bottle of wine that Teddy had in his hands from the beginning. Drunk on some of that. Teddy behind done put poison in it, I guess, because as soon as Grady finished drinking it, he choking, he's spitting the wine out, he's falling on the floor, and all of that kind of stuff. And, he all jacked up or whatever. And, Teddy says, I didn't do this because you disrespected me. I did this because you're bad at your job and this cost countless lives. And Teddy, I call bull crap. First of all, that's not what your boss told you to do. He told you to go and speak to him and do it quietly. He did not tell you to kill nobody, but because you are Teddy, you gotta always do, your Teddying. And I'm sick of you. And so, of course, we have him pop up at Franklin's door. Franklin at first thought it was Veronique coming back. He's like, oh, did you forget your key? He sees that it's freaking Teddy behind and he's like, hey. And then Teddy's like, can I come in? He's like, yeah, come on in, man. And he chuckles. And so, he comes in or whatever the case may be. And he's asking him like, oh, so what's going on? When did you get back here? And, Teddy is looking all around his place, being all nosy, watching every damn thing. And it's my, oh, nice place. And, it's secure, it's quiet, it's, like, not too close near anybody. It's you. It's safe. It's quiet. It's secluded. And so Franklin is like, okay, yeah, and why are you here? And he was like, I guess it's, Teddy was saying, I guess it's everything I expect from you. So he says, he got back a couple weeks ago. He never thought he could come back to Los Angeles or that he would miss Los Angeles. But he was like, is there something about this place? And it has a way of growing on you. And of course, Franklin is just looking up him. And so he was like, yo, I hear you coming up. You got a pilot's license. And so Franklin is like, yeah. He was like, and a lady, right? And Franklin is like, yeah. And so he's like, you want a cigar? You want something? And he opens up the cigar box, to take a cigar out. And Teddy is like, sure. And so, Franklin is basically telling him, like, man, things is running smooth. I've been working with Grady. He's good. And so he's talking about, I know you liked Grady. He was easy to be around or whatever. And so that's his job, and to make you like him, to make him trust you. So, Franklin is like, you saying that he's not? And he was like, well, I'm saying he made poor choices, partying. That's something I could forgive. Like, who the hell are you to forgive? Ooh, Teddy gets me sick with his self-righteous bull crap. But he's like, he was in a romantic relationship with one of your crew. And that's before we get to the two of you going into business together with each other and real estate together and all of that kind of stuff. And so Franklin is basically like, he's saying to Franklin, look, I get it. I know at that time it probably seemed like a really good idea that you intertwine business and it was more likely to protect you and look after you. And he was like, well, why do you keep saying it in past tense, Reed? And he was like, well, because now that is a closed contract, okay? And he was like, here I am saying it and letting you know. That's done. And so Grady was not your friend. I'm like, and neither are you. And he gonna talk about it's a matter of time before it would have gotten into a lot of trouble. But good news is it's taken care of, before things could get any more out of hand than they could. And now we're gonna get back to how it's supposed to be done. And so Franklin says, starting when, and he was like, right now. And so he was like, we got shit done before, and there's no reason why we can't get shit done now. Franklin knows how to play the game. And so Teddy is like, good, that's what I like to hear. And see, so he was like, I don't think I have to explain anything to you. The stakes are even harder than they were before. And we can't have no mistakes, no foul-ups, no loose ends. And he was like, is that okay? And Franklin says, yeah, okay. And so, Teddy's basically like, okay. Then he goes, to leave, but he gonna stop and pick up the freaking lighter that Franklin had on the damn thing, talking about, I don't got no light, can I keep this? And he was telling him that he could go ahead and sell the house that Grady was living in. And so Franklin tells him, it's your world, man. I'll just sell dope in it, okay? Because Franklin, like I said, already know what he gets when he's dealing with damn Teddy Raggedy behind. And so Teddy goes to go ahead and walk out the door. You just got Franklin there kind of letting it sink in. And he says, hey, Reed, Grady had agreed to cut the prices down. Is that still going to be good? It's supposed to be $9,000 a kilo. I'm hoping you can honor that. And so Reed going to talk about, Teddy going to talk about, is 10,000 for now. And he was like, Reed is gone. From here on out, I'm Teddy. And so he goes and walks out the door. And we see when Franklin looks at the cigar box that it was actually a gun in the box. Okay. So, like I said, he ain't stupid. He know what time it is when it comes to Reed. The plot thickens, right? And that means that it's probably not going to be as easy, of course. Because why should it be for Franklin to go ahead and get out this game and have his stuff go legit and everything that he was trying to plan? So you guys tell me what you thought about this episode, which I think Teddy gonna have in store coming up next. Do you think it's going to be any blowback or repercussions for what he did to Grady? Put it all in the comments. Did Mama hear what Franklin was saying to her? Let's discuss. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Till next time. Toodaloo.